motion to adopt the agenda. Any additions?
Yeah, I have an addition. I asked to have motorized vehicles at the Waterloo End be added to the agenda, but it, for whatever reason, hasn't appeared. Can we put it in at 8.2?
Yes, we can. All those in favor? All right. There's the minutes from the last meeting of June 11th, 2024. Is there any errors or omissions? Okay. All those in favor of adopting them? There's no delegations. Moving right into staff reports. Community engagement update. Mr. Davidson, thank you.
Thank you. So through the chair, you have a brief report on where we're at with the Castlegar and District engagement project on reimagining recreation. So in the background part, I just provided a bit of a written update as to the engagement that's now concluded. So I think since the last meeting, there were still a few things were winding up. So just like let you know where this landed. So maybe just for everyone's benefit, so we held 7 community meetings, which I know all of you know, so you were there. So we also had the resident survey, and this sort of summarizes the responses that we were able to get. So in area I, we had 113 responses, in area J, 234, in the city of Castlegar, 606. We also did a user group survey to which we had 8 responses received. Our next steps in this process, which I know are everybody's chomping at the bit to know how that's going to unfold, is that the consultants are to provide staff with a draft report the week of August the 12th. So we're expecting that by probably mid next week. And then the goal would be that once we've had a chance to review it, we'll pull the working group together to review that full report. And then from there, decide what our next steps are to go out back to the community with what we discovered so that everybody knows. So that will ultimately probably feed in nicely to our September Castlegar meeting, give or take. There'll be another update, but certainly the working group will probably be pulled together definitely before the end of August, but it's looking like probably the week of the 26th.
The only days I have available that week are the 26th and 27th.
Okay, great. So through the chair, if you want to email me that, just so I've got it top of mind. We can try to get that booked so that, and I can consult with Rob over the next couple of days and at least get that held so that we have a date in everyone's calendars, because I know that can get tight for everyone as we get closer. And of course, if anyone else already go ahead. I can be.
Exactly the same. I am out 26th. I'm traveling to drop my daughter to school. I can probably make sometime 27th online available. I can start to make sure that I can the 27th will let you do this. So it looks like the 27th, if you can, might be the
Sounds good.
So I can put it.
And I'll just complete the troika with, I'm going to Victoria that week as well. So the 27th is the day we're actually traveling, so that's probably not the best day.
I could do late the 28th, like 3 after 3 on the 28th.
So how about this? Andy is also putting his hand up or anything?
No, he's just shaking his head in frustration.
No, yeah, I'm just looking at that week. 26 works for me. 27th, we have the West Whitney Transit meeting, 1 to 3. And then it'd be after that. 28 late would work. Like 4.
So how about this, Andy, I'm hoping you can hear me. I did catch your dates that if you ended on the 28th. What I will do is I will send out some options. It's a really important report to have everybody have the time to review. So pulling over on the side of the road might not be the easiest for you to be able to engage properly. So we will figure out an option that works for everyone. There was also hope in the week of the 19th. I know I'm personally away that week, so it didn't work for me. But between Joe and I, we will come up with something. And if we have to go into September, that's fine too. So it's all good. We will find a way to get all of you there where you can be present.
Thanks, Tricia.
Not pulled in a bunch of directions. So unless there's any questions, I'd just like to everyone know where it's coming from.
Commissioner McDonald.
Thank you. I do have a question. User group and this will probably, and if you tell me that this will come in the report, don't ask now, then I'm totally fine. So user groups, 8 responses. Do you know the breakdown of, were those all different sports? Were they primarily just ice users? Was it a mix of all of them?
It was a mix. There, off the top of my head, of the 8, I want to say at least 2 were ice sport related. But I believe they also may have been both, say, hockey related versus including, say, figure skating. But I also don't want to trust my memory, and yes, it will definitely help me.
And follow-up? That's okay.
Absolutely.
And population basis, so I know, Area J and City Castlegar residents. So I know about percentage wise. You know that? Area J and City Castlegar. Yes.
Yeah, no, we do have it, so we can definitely include that comparison.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions, Commissioner Henniger? I have one, and I'm sure it'll be in the report, so I don't expect an answer now, but I would be interested to know the survey responses, how many of them were the actual online ones and how many were the hard copy ones.
Sure.
Just be interested to know that.
Anecdotally, I can tell you that, only because they would have had to come through here to be mailed.
Oh, okay.
And I know that we mailed 12. You say 12, and so one of those might have, at least one of those may have been a duplicate. There was one person I know that called and said, just wanted to make sure. I dropped it off twice. She made a photocopy. So we just sent everything to Rob.
Okay.
But there was not a lot.
Yeah.
We're done by hard copy, but I know we did at least 2 mailings and there were approximately 5 to 6 in each one.
Thank you. Commissioner David, I can't see if you have your hand up. Did you have any questions or comments? Okay, please feel free to speak up. I do have my glasses on, but I'm not sure I'll be able to see the hand on Joe's laptop. His font is not as good as mine would be.
Yeah, and I just got two pairs of glasses, because nothing works for the computer anymore or for driving. So I can't see on the computer, and putting glasses on is even worse. So in about a week and a half, I'll be fully operational again.
I feel your pain.
Aging is great.
Thank you very much, Tricia. Move on to 7.2, Castlegar District Community Complex Operations Report. And I'm not sure who's doing that one.
So Vanessa is not feeling well today, so she just asked that I just go through it quickly. And I only got back this morning, so the big thing is that the roof. So we talked. I think that he said I want to just highlight just around that roofing contract because we spent so much time planning for that in our capital projects. So the contractor will start work. Yes, that's 2 weeks from now, approximately, on August 22nd. I think that we both, I think Craig and I, probably Vanessa, were all hoping that work would have been started. Because that tender came in lower, we talked about, is there a possibility of just completing both parts of that? It seems like we can get the engineering part of the installation done, but we'll have to wait for the installation for 2025. So it does change the capital plan, but it's not too dramatic. The RTUs, Trish and I just walked past them. They're right out in the back. So that is, so they installed in September, they're here. The biggest problem with RTUs is getting them, and that is, so an RTU goes by many acronyms to rooftop unit. Really, that means your air conditioning and heating system. Pioneer, everything is good. Replace the fire alarm panel. I think everybody, unfortunately, that's a cost. It's a cost. You might get a repayment to cover the money back for it only being a year old. But that's Andy. I believe we can hear your printer.
Oh,
Or else I'm hearing someone else's.
It's bounced around the wheel.
So so that piece is, well, I don't believe there were any ice allocation issues. No, I've got issues in other places, so you guys know the issues. I haven't heard about any for here. Pass Creek, so the campground, I don't know if you're all aware, yeah, maybe you were, but that on the campground side, we were without water for quite a while, until early July, because the well had an issue. So that's finally fixed and repaired, and it's working good. Skate park repairs, I went through there. It says that the anticipated completion was August 2nd, which was before this. I didn't pay attention as I was walking through the skate park to see if they were done, but I will after the meeting. So again, I think, unless there's any other questions, the big thing was that roofing project. So we will get the roof coating done. Engineering will be done for the insulation, but the actual work for the insulation will take place in 2025.
Just on the staffing piece, because I go to the pool, I can say that there's been, there's a good-sized group of lifeguards being trained right now. It's great to watch them in action, and I look forward to seeing them playing field. You guys have really found a great group of young lifeguards. They're really quite delightful. So,
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Good to hear that.
yeah, helpful, cheerful, all of those. Okay.
Very good. Any other questions? Thank you. You answered my only question, Joe, was about fire panel. I wonder if there was a possibility of repurposing it or something. I wasn't sure if they were built especially for, design of a specific building or whatever. So I had no idea. So
Yeah, no, so there's a standard panel and then it has different zones.
yeah,
So it should be able, they do if there is a good one that you can purchase, you can do that. So that's what we're hoping, is that it'll actually go back to Selkirk and that they can resell it.
thank you. All right. Moving right along. Number 8, new business, summer pool closure. So we're back to you, Tricia.
Yeah, so through the chair, there were really two pieces of this. The one is I just thought I would highlight the pool closure, which is scheduled from August 24th, which is Saturday through till September 8th, and that's for all of the pools. And then for the fitness center, it's closed the second of those 2 weeks, so August 30th to September 8th. I do know Director Hennegraff had some questions related to the pass extension. And so I did a little bit of research, because of course that was a bit new to me, and I can share what I learned, and then maybe if there's more, do you like to get more questions or things you could add to our research, we'd be happy to. So what the question was focused around, do we extend people's passes, if you're a term membership holder, to the equivalent of, say, when a service is not operational? So it sounds like back in 2018 or 2019, when we shifted from Class to Perfect Mind, in the previous software system, we did extend passes, and then a decision was made to not do that as of 2019. Yeah, so I learned that. So from 2019 forward, pass extensions were not a practice anymore. It would have to be something more quite significant to occur for us to actually just automatically extend people's passes. So just so you're aware, there's terminology within the agreements that identify that regular planned maintenance shutdowns and those types of details are worked into the costing, and these are just things that we do operationally, and so to be aware that that's just part of your pass. So just so you're aware, that's what I learned. I didn't know if there was maybe more to that you wanted to talk about, or just know what the practice is.
Yeah, I'm going to say, I don't think that's right. If someone buys a pass on, let's say a 1 month pass on August 15th, and it runs till September 15th, but really it's just 2 weeks because 2 weeks have been taken out of it. And I don't think, I don't think people are aware of it. I know back in the day I used to buy an annual pass. That was when we had the seniors discount. I don't do that anymore because I'm paying the same for 6 months as I did for a year back then. And so I'm much more, I'm more careful about what I buy depending on what I've got going on in my life. But I know people with the longer term passes will likely assume that it's been extended because it always was in the past. I was shocked to hear that, in August, September, a 1 month pass is actually a 2 week pass. I just don't think that's fair to people. I don't know if it's explained to people when they buy their pass that the summer pool closure is no longer extended onto your pass. I object. I'm going to say I object. I don't think it's fair. And these are your regular customers who are buying that pass because they come with regularity and keep this place going, kept it going during COVID and all the rest of it. And so, yeah, no, I think it's not fair. It's a polite way to say it.
Yeah, so through the chair, because being the architect of this stuff, I can talk about the building. So the pass isn't a single use pass, so it's not for any one part of the building. So staff are instructed as it's getting close, as particularly if somebody's buying a 1 month and they're primarily using, they're instructed to be telling people that the pool will be shut down. Do you truly want to buy this right now? Because the pass is not just the pool, it's also gets you into the pool, gets you into the fitness center, gets you into public skating and those kinds of things. It has multiple things that it can do. So it was determined that it was actually, especially as we're planning eventually to move to reoccurring payments, that it's not good practice. It's not a practice that's normal in the industry to extend it for planned closures that you're promoting inside your leisure guides and everything. If there's a communication issue that we know of, we can definitely work on dealing with that. So that's the general background on it, but it's been in the terms and conditions now for a lot of years. Yeah.
So the people at the front desk, if somebody came on August 1st or 2nd or whatever, and want to buy the pass, would they be encouraged to buy a punch pass or just explain to?
I just told what their options are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have a way of, how do we know if that is being done? Is there?
I'd have to ask this front desk in particular. Like, it always feels funny for me now to be asked, how do I know? When I used to be in these buildings, I used to be able to say, yeah, I know it's being done because I checked with them this morning. I'd have to check. I know it's done as regular practice. Geez, I hate saying that, but sometimes I have problems knowing what's done in this building. We have found inconsistencies between the customer service that's delivered at the other buildings. So I would say that I know in Nelson 100% for sure, especially with the volume of people, they're full. In Preston, I can say I'm 90% confident. Here, I can say I'm 50% confident. So I have to ask.
Yeah, but it's just something that they could have at their, if when the shift starts, little chats and, you know, sure that they,
There's lots of ways we can communicate
Yeah.
in our busiest center.
Yeah.
Very effective.
no,
Yeah.
I would just like to make sure that we're doing that, because I think if it was me buying one and I didn't get told that, I'd be going, You know, and I get it with a 6-month one, and I understand all that. And I bet you there's at least 1 out of 100 people who read the terms and conditions.
Yeah.
But thank you for the update.
Yeah.
You know, now we've got an answer. Commissioner McFadden?
Most of the questions I had were answered through the dialogue. I just am asking to flag for a future agenda, not for right now, because I don't think it's probably going to fit into this meeting. What you said, I would like to have a conversation about why, because there's an issue there. If there's an inconsistency of knowing, and you're noticing the inconsistency compared to other facilities, that is something that we need to figure out governing wise, what that inconsistency is and how to rectify it. So we can like that, put that on a future agenda to make sure that we figure out the why out issue.
Yeah, I think operationally we are working on that right now. I think the one, going back to the reorg, so here's what I would say. It's the operational piece isn't truly a governance issue, but we will report back on it, on progress made on it. We still, what I would say in the department, in some cases, is that we have a lack of discipline. And that's not meant in like not punishing employees, not that sense. But the lack of discipline is that when we create processes that people have the discipline to follow the process. So it's those pieces and those things have come out in particular because of the reorg. Because now we go, whoa, just a second here. Why is that happening? So we're working on those pieces because it's just as frustrating for. Yeah.
Absolutely, and I to follow up.
Yes.
The reason I flag it is I would love to be in the conversation because from my perspective as the governing body, I agree with you. I don't want to be in your day-to-day operations. I want to be out of that making policy decisions. But it's hard, like if someone's coming to Henny saying, hey, I just got passed, but I'm not even getting my extension, it used to be my extension, and we can't 100% say, well, you were told that. If I know, 90% of the time that actually I'm not getting involved in this because I know you were told, the protocol's in place, I know this was done, then it keeps us out of your operations. But that piece of not knowing where that lands, that's why I kind of flagged it to kind of know where that's landing so that we know with what degree of confidence we can tell someone that we know the protocols, we know what's being done, so we're not getting involved. That makes any sense?
Right. No,
in the day-to-day. So if you can, not to micromanage, just to keep us in the loop of where we're at, and that's so we have a degree of confidence in what we respond to public when they ask. Because I have no problem responding to public if they're just ticked at something that I know they were told about.
Yeah.
You just don't like our policy, but that's not a me issue. That's
right.
Get over it. But if I don't know that they know the information are being told, then it becomes more of a gray area of how you respond. Right? Thank you.
Well, and again, I have zero interest in micromanaging anything, including my own life. But because I've been coming here for so long, and I know what the practice has been, it was surprising to me. And the other thing I'm just going to say, it's all fine and good to say the pass is for the entire facility, and that, in my experience, pool users use the pool, gym goers go to the gym, and I guess some people skate as well. But really, there's not from what I've seen, not a lot of cross pollination there. Except for gym users sometimes have a hot tub afterwards, but typically pool is pool, gym is gym. And so for the pool users to lose 2 weeks on whatever kind of a pass they've got, when that isn't what happened before, that it just doesn't seem all that fair to me. And that's all I'm gonna say. Again.
Appreciate you thinking about putting that on the next agenda. I don't want to micromanage anybody either,
Yeah.
but I would like to see a little bit more of people inspecting what they expect. And that's just based on over 20 years of management of training and telling people, and then if you observe them and you can give them on the spot
Yeah.
fix, right? So anyways, not to belabor the point.
Okay.
All right. If we're done with that, Andy, did you have any? All right. 8.2. Commissioner Hennegrath, Waterloo Heavy Trail Motorcycle. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yes. So a number of months ago, there was damage done at the eddy, and the boulders that had been placed to prevent motorized vehicles from accessing the park trail got moved around, and I think they've been moved around more since. I've seen tracks down there, but what day was that? Last Friday? One day last.
One day last week. I can't remember if it was Thursday or Friday.
I went for a walk with Brian and his wife because they'd never been down there, and our dogs, and we went, and we're coming back. We were fairly close to the beginning, and here were these 2 young guys on dirt bikes, and you know,
We've got videos of it.
I had people with me, so I was super brave, and I went, "What are you doing here? You can't be here. Get out of here," something like that, right, Brian?
Exactly.
One guy turned around and went right away, and the other guy sat there going, and I'm like, oh, what have I done? This could be a problem. I thought he was going to take a run at us
Right.
on his bike. He didn't. Instead, he did a donut, tore up the ground, and left. Another day, there was a guy on a quad over on the boat launch side.
Right.
Which I think they're allowed over there.
Well, technically, you're not allowed to ride a quad on public roads, so technically, no.
He had trailered it. He had trailered.
Oh, interesting.
He had pulled a trailer and he parked on the side of the road and had his quad, but he wasn't on the trail. And I mean, that trail sees quite a bit of foot traffic, lots of people with dogs, lots of people with kids, sometimes in strollers, and these guys came out of nowhere. And, you know, they menaced us. And so I think we need to place the boulders back the way they used to be and stop this nonsense, because I've been seeing the tracks in that donut thing for a couple of weeks now. So, you know, it's one of those things, the more they get away with it, the more they're going to do it. And I'm displeased.
And the lucky thing was they were riding 2-stroke bikes, so they were really loud. Because if they'd come around the corner,
You would have heard them.
yeah. But, and we were in a fairly open area. It was a straightaway. But I thought that they were going to come at us too. I was not too impressed. Like I say, the one young fella, he just turned around and he didn't take off in a hurry. He just left, not making a bunch of noise. But the other one, his parents probably would have been not very happy with him.
Oh, you never know.
So any of
I'm
the,
an optimist.
the boulders were not,
No, boulders haven't been placed back release. And, I mean,
Okay.
they can still make their way around there, and the boulders along the path, they've been moved more than once. Since the initial thing, there's been more movement of those boulders.
So there's the parking lot,
Yeah,
and then they used to have a gate that now has boulders on the kind of the road, lane part that goes around the backside of the eddy. Are you talking about, so
those boulders are there, but then there was boulders, there was that path that goes up.
yeah, up to the power line,
That
right?
used to be blocked.
Yeah, I know
It's not
exactly where
blocked anymore.
I know exactly where you're going.
And while I'm at it, the parking lot needs to be graded, or paved, or something. I'm surprised I haven't wrecked my car in that parking lot. It's terrible. Have you,
You're talking about where the rain has sort of washed out the very, yeah, I know exactly where you're talking. I think the last time I was down there, it was kind of full of water and sand, to be honest. So it's kind of hard to tell. But I know the part you're talking about, when you come on by the power line down, where you kind of come behind where the rocks be, where it actually looked like the excavator had actually pushed the rocks across the path.
Yeah.
That, I guess with motorcycles are certainly more brave than I would ever be, but yeah, I can see what you mean. They're not as obtrusive as they could be. But I question whether if you go your way around that back 40 between there and the, whatever the road is called, kind of up by the gravel pit, there are a ton of ways to access that.
and not all of that is part of the park. A lot of it's tech land, but I think it's way easier than it used to be, and allowing it to continue the way it is, to not replace those rocks, really kind of it sends the wrong message. Yeah, I was hoping that those rocks were going to be restored to where they were shortly after it happened, right?
I know what
Yeah. I mean, it's a lovely park. It's so insane to walk there.
And through the chair, that's what we want it to be. It's frustrating for us as well. We had a long conversation in the spring about what we could and not could impose for how we first junction. So I just see that Andy has his hand up.
I thought there was going to be, I was told there was going to be video. What happened?
I just texted about it just to see if we had posted the video. So I'm just going to respond back.
I personally, video moment, just put the deterrent up. Let's stop it. I'm not about charging people and blaming people and all the rest. I just want the behavior to stop.
Right. Yeah, we have been in touch with Lyle about it.
Commissioner David,
Yeah.
question? Sorry for missing your hand there, but
Oh, no worries at all.
spread its wings.
Yeah, no worries. So I just wanted to make a comment that the new commission members probably wouldn't know anything about. But Joe might remember. About 30 years ago, we had a huge issue with all kinds of terrain vehicles and utilizing the Brilliant Flats, the Upper Terrace, land below Sucker College, everywhere. And it was horrible. And they were ripping apart everything. Same thing happened on the Champion Creek lands, the Pooper lands as they're referred to. So what we did is everybody got together and built a BMX track up on the Bombi that was
Yeah.
paid by regional district directors, and all the directors got together where this was impacting them, and we gave these people a home because they said we have no place to do this. I think it's time to educate a little bit to say you have a home where you can do this. There is a track. They were representatives from that run that track were at our Ready grant meetings asking for funding. So the bottom line is that it's another generation that is now doing this. And unfortunately, some of those people are from out of the area if they're trailering in. But maybe if we put up signs and saying, hey, there's a BMX track up on the Bombi, free to use it, like instead of confrontation, education, see if that would help at all. So Joe, I don't know if you remember that whole problem we had 30 years ago.
Yeah, in fact, the young woman who was, we had a young woman at one of the meetings, I think the meeting in,
Yeah.
Pass Creek. I think it was. Yeah, who spoke to that as well.
Yep.
Yes. I'm sorry, so I do have so we issued a media release with images of the damage, but no video that shows the people who did the damage.
Do you have video of the people that did the damage?
There's two different pieces. We don't have video of the people that moved the rocks. We believe we know how that was done. There was a contractor in there from Fortis, and it wasn't the Fortis contractor, but typical thing is that you leave the keys, and they took advantage of the machinery that was there for Fortis.
Yeah.
What we have video of is of young people riding their motorcycles dangerously. So we'll talk about that again tomorrow. I'll talk about it with Kerry. Kerry apologizes. He wasn't able to come on short notice. He had things with the kids, or else he would have joined to be able to answer some questions for him.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I just wonder, like, when we ask for things to be added to the agenda, why aren't they?
Sorry, so I wasn't here during the agenda prep, so I'm not using that as because I just physically I wasn't here. I'll check in. I'll have to just follow back. I remember there being something, but
Yeah, I have a little bit of information on that. I mean, I think the goal was that it was going to be included as part of the operational report.
Yeah.
And I know that Carrie ended up having to be away, and so it could have just got missed in there when the agenda was put together. But I do know that was the intent, is that there was literally a discussion that said, oh, don't worry about putting it on the agenda, it will already be covered in the operational report. So I think some of what Carrie is talking about should have gone there. So I think it's not an excuse as to why it wasn't there, it's just I know that it wasn't like neglected per se.
Yeah. Okay.
sorry, and just so you know, like we're very clear that we want our goals to be the same thing. It's going to be a battle because this battle has eliminated 2 home gates, and we went to the rocks. So it will be. We're working with. Yeah, we're working with.
Generally, it just means that those people are winning the battle.
No, we don't. No, and thank you for that. Like, that's the most important thing, is that we're on the same page.
Yeah.
That we do not. Personally, that Eddie, I mean, I don't know what you guys thought about your wall, but if you could imagine the Eddie actually being restored. And we've had talks with ONA. ONA wants to do, all First Nations want to see that Eddie restored.
Yeah.
Our first problem is stopping is stopping this. And so I hear you.
And while we're on the subject of the Eddie, why isn't there a garbage can?
It's pack in, so that's a cost measure. So it's a pack in, pack out. So adding garbage cans does add costs. So we can talk about that by all means, we can talk it's just that also you have to have regular pickup now. And the thought also is that sometimes garbage cans, especially in a rural neighborhood, end up meaning rural people putting their garbage in the garbage can.
Into Safeway, which I have seen.
Yeah, through the dumpster.
To the Safeway garbage can on their way into the store. My neighbor.
And they used to just leave them out back, by the back door. I'm not accusing anybody of doing it, but regular basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Directions to you.
Yeah.
I have to be a better proof.
yeah, oh yeah, like we only use Bear Proof, but to that point, unless you're doing a regular cleanup, the garbage attracts more, the garbage can sometimes can attract more garbage.
You know what? That's fair.
Yeah.
I'll tell Kathy that.
Okay.
We just asked them. I said, talk to your director.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so garbage cans and washrooms increase the
Yeah.
maintenance.
Yeah. And I have to say, there isn't garbage in that park.
No, I've never seen
I've never seen it.
No. My dogs have found it there, but it's not so much like kind of back by where some of the boats and trailers might get stored. That said, my dogs are garbage dogs and they don't find it all the time. It's not like it's a regular occurrence down there. So I agree, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. People are pretty respectful. Okay.
All right. I think we've exhausted that topic. So we'll go to number 9, action items from previous meetings. The action items from previous commission meetings has been received. They are on page 14. The only thing that I would question would be the accessibility report. We better move that over to the next meeting because I didn't see it in the operational updates.
Sorry, the accessibility report. Oh, for the viewing, for the ice rink.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess we should just move that to the September meeting. Sure.
Yes.
September 10th meeting. The arena roof insulation we did discuss, which was great. Thank you. Okay, so we'll just move the accessibility report to the next meeting. All right.
Ask for public.
Public time. I'll now call for question from the public and members of the media at 4:49 p.m. Do we have anyone online?
I think we have observer. I think it's my friend Deb.
All right, I don't see any questions from the public in the room. Is there, one more time, is there any questions from anyone online? Not seeing any questions. All right, we'll move on. The next meeting will be September 10th, 4 p.m. here in the Castlegar District Recreation Complex. Call for adjournment. All in favor?
Yeah.
There you go.
Andy.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, everybody. Okay.
Later. Come back. Did you tell you about that?